Floyd better fighter than all those guys right now. Floyd right now is better fighter than all, even though he's 47, he's still better than all the fighters now, and he's fighting a YouTuber.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he's making more money than the champions to make it. Crawford and Flip, the other guy.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though, Mike. This is where I would have a problem if Floyd's retired, man. Floyd can do whatever he wants. I'm saying the guys that are active, they're trying to take fights with these dudes.
Everybody wants to kill him because they see this little white guy, blonde hair, blue eyes, making all the money, talking all this shit.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to kill him.
Yeah.
All right, now, what Mike Tyson said right there, and I believe that was on this Hot Boxing podcast. Shout out to Mike Tyson and this podcast. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. But what he said right there was very interesting. I wish I could ask Mike a couple questions about that statement. Something that neither one of those guys, because it was like Mario from Saved by the Bell, I forget his last name, was on there, and some other guy. But what I wish they would ask Mike was, are you talking Floyd in, well, no, actually, you know what, let me scratch that, because Mike actually, what I was going to say is he talking about Floyd in his prime or Floyd right now, but he actually did cover that because he said Floyd in his 40s. But I still find that interesting of a statement to make based off the fact you haven't seen Floyd fight in real action in like what, 3 years, something like that. And even that was, you know, when he fought the guy over in Japan, and that's if it was 3 years ago. But my point is this, and it's the same conversation that I've had with people about Clarissa Shields and Layla Ali. It's hard for me to say Layla Ali would beat Clarissa Shields. Number one, I'm not sure if Layla Ali would have beaten Clarissa Shields in her prime. That's number one. Number two, and I say that about Floyd Mayweather versus Errol Spence see, first of all, I don't consider Floyd at welterweight being in his prime. That's number one. And number two, Floyd Mayweather versus Errol Spence would be a tough fight, period. I'll say about the age Spence is right now, maybe a little younger. If you put him in there with Errol Spence, to me, I'll get an edge to Floyd because it's Floyd. But Spence would be a live dog even then. And we know that to be the case because when I think it was for the Guerrero fight, something like that, Floyd would have been in his mid-30s. But Spence was a baby. And from what everybody reported, Spence gave him hell to the point where Floyd Mayweather kicked him out of the camp. Now he brought him back. Well, no, they said his father, I mean, but you hear different reports that Floyd Sr. kicked him out of the camp or Floyd kicked him out of, but we know Floyd brought him back. Floyd wanted to get that work in some more and brought him back, and they tore it up. Now, I've heard people say that Spence, got the better of him. I heard people say that it was, it was a war. Not necessarily Spence got the better of him, but he gave just as good as he got. And that says a lot when you going in there with Floyd. So even notice, even when people clearly lose against Floyd, because they did better than most, or because they were putting hands on him, or they beat him. So it might be a little bit of that with the Spence thing, but my point is this. Spence probably would have been a live dog with Floyd back then. Not saying he would beat him, but a live dog. So I don't know if Floyd could come back and beat Errol Spence. Him and Terrence Crawford would be interesting because that would be more of a chess match type of fight. And now, unless Floyd attributes have faded to the point where Spence might be Crawford might be above him attributes wise, like if he's past some speed, reflexes, agility, stuff like that, then he would have a good chance of beating him as well. Not saying that he would, but see, here's why I gotta preface all of this. I can say all of that stuff, but it depends on what Floyd looked like right now. And I'm not just talking about looking like he's in shape. I'm talking about reflexes. When you get older, and a lot of people don't understand this until you get to a certain age, even if you are in shape, you're still not the same. Ask Bernard Hopkins. Ask him. When he was fighting in his 50s, mid 40s, as good as he wasn't as good as he was in his 30s. I don't care what you say. George Foreman, when he fought in his 40s, was not as good as he was in his late 20s or early 30s, whatever it was he retired at. I think it was in late 20s. He wasn't. Now, can you make up mentally some of the stuff you lose physically? Yes, we saw Michael Jordan do it, especially his latter years with the Bulls. But he showed some of it with the Wizards, but that still wasn't Michael Jordan. Not the Jordan that I knew. Now maybe if you didn't see Michael Jordan play live, you saw that Wizard stuff, you were just happy to see Michael Jordan play. So I gotta relate it to that. I want to see what Floyd looked like in this Logan Paul fight. Now I wish it wasn't against somebody so much bigger, because then we'll really get a better understanding of what he looked like if it was somebody actually in a weight class that he's campaigning in. Now, the weight class that Floyd officially would be at is 160. Interesting enough, it's 160. And the reason why I say that, because that's middleweight, a weight that he never fought at. And to be honest with you, he didn't look like a middleweight to me. But that's the limit they're giving him, 160, and the limit they're giving Logan Paul is 190. And Logan Paul looked like clearly he could fight in the 200s. I mean, he's a big guy, especially compared to Floyd. He is not a little guy. So that's going to bring variables in that normally you wouldn't see in a Floyd Mayweather match. He's fighting somebody at least 6 feet tall. He's going to be outweighed at least by 20 pounds. And that's, I don't know if they're going to have a rehydration clause or not, but you could arguably see Logan Paul come in there 210, 215, something crazy like that. So arguably Floyd Mayweather might be at a 45, pound, because Floyd ain't rehydrating that big, no matter what weight class he's fighting at. You might actually see a 45-pound size advantage. So that's going to be interesting in itself. But he's fighting basically an amateur boxer. So even that's going to make it hard to equate how he would look against a Spence or a Porter or a Crawford. But I did find it interesting that Mike Tyson said he believed Floyd is better than those guys. Now, is that based off of memory of what you saw with Floyd or what you really think Floyd is right now? But to me, that might be wishful thinking. Until you see Floyd get in the ring, see what he looks like, and we will have that opportunity in a couple weeks. It's under a month at this point. We'll see in a couple weeks exactly how Floyd looks, and I can't wait. Even if it is against a YouTuber, I don't care. I'm a big Floyd Mayweather fan, and I want to see what he got left in the tank, because I'm telling you, if Floyd go out there and smoke this dude, I don't expect him to knock him out. I don't see it. Floyd ain't knocked nobody out in a long time. But if Floyd go out there and smoke this dude, embarrass him, make him look stupid, people go start calling for a Floyd Mayweather Canelo Alvarez fight, especially since Floyd is coming in at 160. And that's when all hell's gonna break loose in boxing. Especially if Floyd decides to come back. But he already said he's not coming back, no matter how good he looked. But that still will be something a lot of people will be clamoring for. And that's pretty much all I got this Head Busting Boxing's on Fight Doctor. Hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Hit me up in the comment section. Let me know, do you think Mike Tyson might have been smoking too much of that good? Is Mike tripping over there on the weed? What's going on? Matter of fact, just the fact that he's talking nice about Floyd, you would probably think he was smoking, which I don't think he was in the video if you check it out. But can Floyd Mayweather come back and still beat a Errol Spence or Terrence Crawford? And I'm gonna throw Canelo in the mix, even though he didn't say Canelo's name, but he mumbled out Spence and Crawford. But fighting at 160, he'll be in Canelo's range. Think Canelo wouldn't want that smoke? You think he wouldn't? Come on, man. He been calling Floyd back out. So it's gonna be interesting to see what goes down with Floyd and Logan Paul. But that's pretty much all I got to tell Bustin' Boxers on Fight Doctor. I am out.